for it, yeah. We're here for it, yeah. We're here for it, yeah. We're here for it, yeah.
Welcome everyone to the SheHH Podcast with me, Paula, and of course the amazing Wande. This is giving full circle for SheHH because you were actually our very first interviewee back in the end of 2019, and you started this podcast literally. So it's really incredible to come back nearly 4 years later and chat to you. First of all, how are you doing? How's life right now?
Hey, life is cool. I think it's been a season of growth in general. So yeah, I feel like God's been challenging me in different areas to embark new characteristics of leadership and stuff like that. So it's been a challenging season, but it's been good. It's been good. So
amazing. I love that. Yeah, seasons of change always happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the audience will know you, I'm sure. But for people that don't know, just being introduced to you for the first time, how would you describe yourself?
Yeah, I would describe myself as a woman who's a hip hop artist who is passionate about the Lord, passionate about Jesus. So through my music, I love to exude that. And yeah, you'll find that whether through it's like intense hip hop or you might get a little singing sometimes. But overall, I just love God and just love communicating the message that he wants me to communicate to the people at this time. So that's what you're going to get. It's always going to be a fun time. I love comedy. So online, you might have a little fun with the skits. But overall, you're always going to get Jesus, fun, and maybe some glam too.
We stan. I love that you can't be put into one box. You're really just being able to express the different facets of how God's made you. And that's literally what it's like being a woman in 2023. So I'm really, just loving that. Like I said, we interviewed you back in December 2019. So since then, a bunch of stuff had happened, obviously. And you had signed to Reach in April that year. So I remember us spending a lot of time talking about that, but it's been almost 4 years now. Or no, it's been 4 years now. Since then, opened multiple businesses, gotten married, just really established yourself on socials and just built your brand. But yeah, how's that? I mean, I don't even know where to start, but how has the last quarter, the last four years is not a quarter, is it? That's not how it works. How has the last 4 years been for you since speaking to us?
Yeah. So, it's so interesting to think that that's been 4 years. It's like, wow, that went by so fast. So it's like my graduation. But it's been fun. I think now being a full-time artist seems normal to me, which is so funny because I remember I was so afraid to be a full-time artist. I was like, how do you survive? How do you pay your bills? So I would say now I feel way more confident in just being a full-time artist. God has definitely blessed me tremendously to where I can just live my life. I know my bills are being paid. I have options now. It's like, oh, let's just buy this. Let's just do that. I have a team now. I have 2 managers. And then the label is cool. We have a partnership going on over there. And so overall, it's just been a really cool experience of just being able to literally my job is to wake up, serve God and encourage people in their faith, whether that's online or whether that's through music. So it's been beautiful. I think I feel way more comfortable in what I'm doing and of this being my normal life. And I would just say now it's just a new calling of growth that God is calling me to. So yeah.
That's really beautiful to hear. And I love, you said it on the slide, I've got options now. And I'm like, I love that because that is a graduation of a stage of life where you prayed for this, you wanted to do this, and then God made the way, and you obviously worked alongside him. And yeah, you've been putting out music for ages. When we started SheHH, a big part of it was helping women consistently release music and consistently promote their careers alongside other areas of their life. Because as we know, there's different things that can sometimes derail that, especially if you're not a full-time artist. And yeah, since 2016, you were dropping singles. We had the 2 or 3 track EP in 2020 with The Decision. We had obviously the debut album Exit in 2020 as well. I guess the people want to know one day, is a full-length project coming anytime soon?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely working on something. So God is just, doing a whole bunch of life lessons. So there's a lot of things to talk about, honestly. But I'm definitely working on at least an EP. So me and my homie Clark, He's like my producer now. So we started working on it. And so I'm excited. The sounds are just like very expansive. And yeah, I'm just excited just to like creatively express myself in that way again. So I'm excited to see what happens. Like we're in the beginning stages. So we're gonna see. Who knows? It might come out this year. Hopefully this year, like I'm aiming for like maybe like September-ish. But yeah, I'm excited just to see like what comes out in general. I just feel like there's a lot of things to talk about. And I think a lot of things I've learned as a person. So I want to communicate those things over music.
No, I love that. And that definitely makes sense. I think throughout your career so far, you've experimented with different sounds, explored different like cadences and flows with like rap or with like sing-songy stuff. Even with your collabs, obviously Afro beats and Afro gospel is always going to be influenced there. So I really think that this, like whatever does come out, is going to be something that we're like, oh, we've actually like grown with Wande, which is always exciting to see with an artist. I guess until then, we'll speak about the latest single that you dropped, which was with everyone's fave, like literally everyone's fave, Doe. Literally all love her. And it's called Wild and Free. Can you tell us about this collaboration, how that came to be, and what it was like with this song?
Yeah, I'm so excited that we got to drop that song. So I love Doe. We love each other. So it's just been dope, like for us to be able to collab together. I hit her up and I was like, hey, you want to do a song? And she was like, yeah, of course. And so that was great, just being able to do that. We actually traveled to Nashville to record her vocals, and then came back home to Atlanta and then like wrapped everything up. But yeah, it was definitely like it was dope, like kind of working on a bigger record where we wanted to get like a bigger record out there. And so I think it's been great seeing how all the moving pieces came together, and then seeing also how whenever it came out and got a great response, and like Spotify put it on like New Music Friday with like the secular music. We're like, okay, look at Jesus infiltrating. So that's been cool. It's been like rising, getting a lot of response. So I think that's been a really beautiful process overall, seeing all that happen.
Yeah, and I love to see like two women really being pushed by the space. And yeah, it just really worked well. It didn't feel forced, especially because obviously Doe's not a rapper or a hip hop artist, but it's still like kind of just, worked really well. And I think in general, that's a credit to you being like a people person. You often do collabs. Like there was one day, you on everybody's track. Everybody dropped a track on one day. I remember that year. So, like off the top of your head, and don't panic if you like, miss out a few collaborations. What's been a few of your favorites over the years?
I think so. If we throw it all the way back, I think it was fun to do She Got Aesthetic. It was a song I did with Not Clyde. That was a fun one. I always love working with Byron, so that was fun. We made like a song Bands, and I feel like we worked together on some other stuff. In general, who else was fun? It's fun to work with. Who's fun? Oh, Portia. So it's been fun working with Portia. Yeah, that was like a fun situation. So yeah, I think those have been some of my favorite collabs like over the years in general, of just like, man, I love y'all. Y'all such amazing people. So yeah.
Is there any dream collabs you have?
June. Oh, yeah, I do have one.
Dream collabs.
Oh, dream. I just said dream. I just said June. Dream. I'll be praying for people to get saved. So, I would love for Drake and SZA and Nicki to get saved, and then we can just make some beautiful music together. So I'm praying, I have confidence that, God can use me to speak into their lives and be like, look, I know your circle ain't telling you about Jesus, but I can tell you about Jesus, so it's okay. So I think that'd be cool for them to get saved, and then for us to work on something. That'd be kind of crazy. So nothing's impossible. You see Kanye, so the Lord can snatch up the hearts.
No, that makes sense. And I feel like you and SZA would be fire, because I don't know if I'm making this up, but I feel like you did like a mini like video about like redoing one of her songs or something, like in a Christian way.
Yeah.
I feel like that sound would make sense. And yeah, the thing about Drake, honestly, I think everyone's praying for Drake to come to know Jesus, because if he did,
he's close. He's talking about, I need Jesus in my life. Yes, keep going that way.
Keep going. Don't turn around. Don't close your eyes and just run,
Yeah.
No, I love that. Last time we spoke, we had the conversation about the Wande versus Blonde, which is everyone's favorite topic. And for people that don't know, it's kind of like, I don't want to say alter ego, because that sounds like really like, but not like alter ego, but just kind of, a different facet of your sounds. And just the super like versatile nature of your genres and the fact that you're not really boxed in. Is there any type of music that you enjoy like listening to, or you enjoy how it sounds, that would surprise people?
Trying to think. I feel like for the most part, it wouldn't be surprising just because I do so much. But I really love like R&B and Afrobeat. Like I really like, that's what I listen to all the time. And so, but sometimes I'm like, dang, I want to put out like a hype rap song, but I'm listening to so much R&B that I'll start creating that. But then I'm like, I want to put out more Blonde songs. I'm sorry, but I just keep listening to R&B. And so, I would say maybe that, I don't know, it might be surprising of like, that's what I legitimately listen to, like in the car. It's just R&B all day. Like I just love singy songs. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. Maybe even the worship songs. I feel like everybody listens to worship too, but I do really love worship songs too. Like I'll just be like, yes. And so that might be surprising though. Like, oh, I thought you would just listen to rap all day or something like that. I don't know.
I mean, you still love Jesus, so it'd be nice to listen to worship. No, that sounds cool. I mean, I guess part of the reason why I ask, and I did expect like Afrobeats to be mentioned, is because when we had started talking, there was just it was kind of like bubbling up, but now there's been like a huge surgence of Afro gospel as a genre. Yeah. People, I mean, I feel like people just woke up there because those Nigerians of us.
I would say it's so interesting to me, right? Because like as a Nigerian, you just grow up and that's like normal music. You just hear it. And so it's crazy because I want to be accepting because obviously like this is great that it's on a global scale, but it is slightly weird sometimes where I'll see like American people like making Afro music and like using an accent. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what is going on? But then that just shows me how mainstream it's gotten. But it's crazy to me though, whenever I do see some of my American friends like making Afro music and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. But at the same time, you know, go off, express yourself.
No, genuinely, that is the struggle of the diaspora because I'm the exact same boat. Like, I'd be like, you know, I know when my like British friends, like my British friends, because obviously I'm a Brit, but when they like show me a song, they're like, oh, have you heard this song? And I'm like, babe, how do you know the song? How do you know that song? It always cracks me up. And I don't know, this is a very side note. Even in the secular space, this is also happening because so Burna Boy recently came to London and he actually sold out one of the stadiums. He was the first African artist to do that by himself. He actually performed the day Beyonce performed and Kelly Rowland in London. So it was kind of unseen that like he sold out a like, you know, thousands of seats at a stadium. And it just shows that while this is happening in the secular, it's also happening, you know, in the Christian space where people are just actually loving the sounds coming out of Africa and really just like supporting that. And I love that it's also happened along the same vein as Limo Blaze signing to Reach as well. I don't know if you've like met him, you know much about him.
Oh yeah, that's my homie. We cool.
Oh, you guys know? Okay, cool. Yeah, he's a friend of the podcast as well. A lovely guy. You guys have like collabs and stuff with other people, like with like the summer playlists and stuff, but would you guys ever create something super Niger? That's what we want.
Hey, we're working on it. So stay tuned.
No, I love that. Amazing. So even just going on to a recent interview that you did, recent at the time of recording this with I Am Second. And that was a really beautiful interview because even though it was really short, it kind of gave us a insight into your childhood and a bit of like how you grew up and came to know Jesus, which was important to us as fans to see, not just like the artist and business side of you, but just like the Christian sister in Christ side of you. I guess I wanted to ask you to, you know, share a bit about your story in terms of like your parents being of different faiths. And then I guess it would be really nice to just learn what we could do as Christians to support people who are in the same situations when they're younger.
Yeah, I think it was definitely interesting for me growing up, just having parents of different faiths. I think, so my mom, like, as I got older and I was able to comprehend, like, she would have more, like, adult conversations with me of, like, oh, yeah, make sure you're with someone who's, like, equally yoked and all that stuff. But obviously, as a child, like, you don't see. So I would say, like, as a child, I didn't realize, like, the severity of faith, per se, just because I had parents of both faiths. So I was like, oh, yeah, you can just do whatever you want. Live your life. Go here, go here. Yeah, we're going to pull up to the mosque. We're going to pull up to the church. Like, and then as I got older, once I actually got saved, I was like, oh, no, it's not that way. So it was definitely interesting. At first, it was very neutral because my dad let us go to church just so I could be a good person. But once I actually got saved, that's when I saw the tension where my dad was like, oh, no, like you can't go to church anymore. This is too much. He was like, yeah, the being a good person thing was cool, but you actually talking about Jesus, you talking about resurrection and miracles. He was like, no. And so there was definitely tension, but it was a blessing in disguise because it led me to seek Jesus for myself and not because of my parents. And so I would say I built like a really solid foundation of like, hey, it's me and Jesus. And we're gonna be a BFS till the end. I might not have my parents, but I have God. So I would say that that has like sustained me through so many years of like really having faith in God because he came through for me as a child. But I would say like to support friends like that, I think it's just finding other Christian people. So one thing that really helped me in that area was I prayed to God that I could find a best friend. And so like maybe like a year later, he provided a friend at my school who loved Jesus. So that was support because I had at least someone at school who loved God too. We would talk about God together. We'd go sit with people at lunch and evangelize and stuff. So it was cool though, because at least I wasn't like alone. I had someone in my faith. And then I think now even the internet is so useful because I was like at the beginning stages of the internet, like Twitter had just become a thing. Instagram was like maybe a thing, but not really. So even now, like there's so many ways to connect with people online and encourage people. That's even another way of just encouraging other Christians. Like, hey, like, even if your friends ain't on it or your parents ain't on it, there's other Christians out here who are just like you. And even with the music, it's another encouragement that people can listen to. So I would say those are ways you can support people just by being a friend, you know, reassuring them that like, hey, don't give up, keep going. There's other people out here, you know, stuff like that.
And what was your relationship like with like your extended family? Like, did you have cousins, aunties, like siblings who had seen a change in you when you had got saved and were just a bit like, whoa, where's this come from?
Yeah. So yeah, I've definitely had extended family. So I got close to one of my cousins, their family, because I used to go to work with my mom on certain Sundays when she was working. And then my uncle would pick me up and take me to church. And then I would stay with their family all through the day because my mom would get off like at 9 p.m. So then she'd pick me up at night. So I'd just be with them all day, like every other week. So they definitely saw that change in me in terms of just seeing me when I first got saved and like that fervor to like just seeing me mature as an adult. Even my teachers, like my Sunday school teachers, like they also observed that. So I would say like, yeah, I think to them, they were just excited. So for anybody who loves God, if you're an adult and you see a child who's passionate about God, I think it's like an exciting thing. Like, yeah, keep doing that. We want to see that. So I'm blessed to where it was supported by my Christian extended family. So yeah, I think it was very a supportive environment from all of them in general. And yeah, they just really embraced it and they provided me with resources and they encouraged me to be unashamed about my faith. I'm grateful for my pastor, rest in peace. But while he was still alive, he also really encouraged me in my walk. And like, even whenever I found out I could rap, he would be like, okay, yeah, let's find a way for you to rap at church and stuff like that. So yeah, I think I had a really encouraging environment that encouraged leadership and encouraged being on fire for Jesus.
I literally love that. I love that you mentioned your pastor as well, because I'm reminded of when we spoke to Cass. It wasn't last year, so it must have been the first time around. So around the time we interviewed you, and she mentioned like serving in her local church and how her church used to support her by playing her music in like the foyer bit at the beginning of service and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed from your socials, you're active in your local church, like you like serve and you're like a normal person there, which I find so weird. Imagine going to church and one day sat next to you, like you're both like lifting up holy hands in service. Like it must be so strange for people. But yeah, I would love to hear you talk about your journey with like the local church and just, you know, finding family and friends in Christ, I guess.
Yeah, so I would say I love going to church. So, you know, that ain't gonna stop. But yeah, I think it's been really cool. I think what happens is maybe like the first time, you know, people be like, oh, you Wande, blah, blah. And like, you know, some people might ask for pictures, but after that, it's pretty chill and people are pretty normal. So I would say I've had a really cool experience in terms of like leadership and serving. My pastors have actually appreciated it. They're like, wow, like normal people like you don't usually serve. So we're glad that you're actually serving. So, but I enjoy serving. So like, that's never been a thing that's felt like I was too good to do. I feel like that's a responsibility as Christians, like find an area to serve your local church in some capacity. I think it keeps you humble and keeps you involved in the church and knowing what's going on, you know? So, that's something that I've just always been passionate about. I will say there's been seasons though, like I recently went through like a season of life with just like friendships and stuff like that. So there has been a season where I did feel like a little bit of anxiety towards like, oh, going to church, like, I don't want people looking at me. But I think God kind of restored me from that to where now it's like I can just go back to normal and like it's a safe place and yeah, everything's straight.
I love to hear you talk about church as a safe space because it's definitely something that sometimes gets lost, but when you have it, it's such a beautiful experience. So thank you for like touching on that. We defo have to talk about like social media because I think this has been the year, maybe last year as well, where artists are also content creators. Like they have to have a presence, or you don't have to, but it's useful to have a presence and to be active and to show personality and authenticity. Mm-hmm. And you've been killing the Instagram and TikTok game. I hate saying killing. I always feel bad whenever I say it.
Oh yeah, you're like, God, give me my vocabulary.
God, renew my words. You have honestly been just like on it with the space, and just creating Christian, godly, fun content. And at the time of filming this, which might have changed because I wrote these questions a while ago, you are at 200,000 followers on Instagram, over 220,000 on TikTok, which as a Christian artist, content creator, that's amazing. It's not like you're out here doing nonsense on the airwaves to get followers. So we really applaud you and celebrate you for that. I love that you're mixing it up between makeup and like music drops, skits, all the fun stuff. And we of course have to shout out the roll call series. So I would love for you to just maybe talk about, the strategy and the thought that goes behind socials and like when you started like, taking it as part of what you do.
Yeah. So socials really just started off as fun. Like literally these were just my random outbursts of life. And that's like how it started. And that's why I was able to be consistent so much at the beginning. It really wasn't a strategy. It was just like, oh, I like Jesus and I like being funny. And so that's like what it was. I would say maybe over the past 2 years, whenever TikTok took over the world during the pandemic, then it became like, oh, you need to have strategy, blah, blah, blah. But I actually found that whenever I kind of thought that way, it became almost overwhelming and overbearing. So I'm actually navigating back to just having fun again and just being myself and being like, what would I want to just share naturally with other people? And I feel like it's making it more fun again. But I do want to still infuse some of the wisdom of some strategy. So like I'm having like a hybrid system. I'm actually going to come out with like a planner because I have a planner thing of like how I like feed that. So I basically have a plan schedule for if I don't feel inspired that day, here's a plan of something practical that can just get done. But if I do feel inspired, then here's like what I'll just be putting out and stuff like that. So.
Oh, that's so good. And it does make sense to have like a consistency and also plans, but also let's wait for life to happen. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to some artists that are a bit more introverted, a bit more like shielded with their life, or just don't really know where to start with this whole artist as a content creator thing?
Yeah. So I would say, honestly, I feel like introverts thrive on the internet. I'm still trying to figure out what I am. Like, I don't know if I'm introverted or extroverted. I don't know. So I feel like it is actually if you're introverted, it's a cool way. The internet is cool because you don't have to record your videos with other people around you. You can literally be by yourself in your home in your comfortable place and make the videos on what you like. And then I would say the scary part is just publishing it. So the scary part is just publishing it. So I would just say, just post it and then throw your phone. And then there you go. And then you'll forget about it. Go watch a movie or post it right before you have to go do something. Like if you have to go to an appointment or something. So since you posted it and you're at the appointment for 20 minutes, it's like, oh, you can't use your phone because you're talking or you're working out, So then it's like, oh, it's already been up for 30 minutes. So just, you might as well leave it. So that's what I would say. Honestly, just do it. Do it scared. Try not to worry about what other people think about you. Do what you genuinely like. Because if you genuinely like it, there's other people who are like you, who like what you like. So I would say don't try to force it. Don't try to be so mechanical and like a formula. Honestly, the people who win, who thrive, are the people who are just sharing what they love and sharing things to help other people. So I would just say, yeah, just think of it like you're just sharing what you love, sharing things with other people. Infuse your personality. If you like to laugh, do a little comedy. If you like the aesthetics, then do the aesthetic thing, and just be yourself. And yeah, I would say the thing that you should focus on is just technique. So I would say that's where you can get methodical of like, let me learn how to properly light my videos. Let me learn how to properly do edits and crops or get the audio to sound good. I would say those are the things that maybe you can focus on. But in terms of just being yourself, just let that flow and don't force that part too much.
No, I literally love that. I remember watching one of the like the Reach Record podcast episodes with you and Erin. Was there another person there?
Yeah, Erin.
That's Erin, right?
Yeah, Erin, yeah.
Yeah, Erin, one of your managers. And it's so interesting because I also spoke to your other manager, Naj. Naj, thank you, when I was setting this interview up. So it's just nice to see like 3 Black women doing their thing, of course, number one. But that's where you kind of talked about, the strategy behind some of what you do with socials, but also how you just like were able to infuse just personality and enjoying it. And people saw that and kind of ran with it. And you were able to build like individual brands on both platforms of Instagram and TikTok, and then just make sure that that's sustainable to like when you put something out, that, okay, if a new song is dropping, we're going to have a set amount of people that will see it. They're going to push it. They're going to use the sound. They're going to put it on their stories, whatever.
Yeah.
So speaking of the team, that's been a change since we last spoke, because I don't think Erin was your manager yet, but you now like are this, entrepreneurial whiz with your hands in multiple pots. And I really do think like the 2 women that work with you are like destiny helpers, just to see like the different areas that, and this is just from online, what I've seen and what I've heard you guys talk about, but just to see how, they've been involved in your career since then. But I'd love for you to maybe just talk about navigating a working relationship with other women.
Yeah, I would say it's honestly a beautiful thing. I feel like I've grown a lot as a person just working with other women, because I think especially the pandemic helped so much. So I remember at the beginning, like we used to have meetings at my home and everybody would drive here. But the pandemic, obviously that wasn't a thing. And so I learned so much in that time period of like online meeting, like, oh, I didn't realize maybe somebody was driving an hour to come to my house or something. I'm like, oh, you were driving that far? Like, so there's certain things you take for granted that you don't realize how dedicated people are to you. That I definitely truly learned. I think talking with them, they're not yes men type people. So they vocalize how they feel. They vocalize areas of growth. So I think that's also helped me develop as a person of valuing people for their full humanity, not just because they're working for you and not just thinking, oh, well, if you don't do what I want, then bye. Like, but actually valuing people as like, you're an intelligent leader. You're an intelligent leader. Let's all come together and lead versus like, I'm a leader and y'all just work for me and I'm the smart one. Like, so I think it's definitely changed how I view people, how I view leadership, how I view empowering others. And I've learned so much from them because they've had also other experiences where people were trash. And from them we have check-ins every week. And so when we check in and we ask about your week, from learning how other artists have treated them and stuff, I learn also, let me not be that. That's a great example. Like the Bible, so much wisdom in the Bible. You don't have to learn from experience. You can learn from the story and be like, let me not end up like that person. So they definitely I think I've just grown as a person in character. They're amazing women too, who are supportive. So they make me feel loved, safe space. Great. And then we get our work done. So that's the fun part too. So yeah, I think it's been a beautiful just to have that. I'm grateful for amazing managers. I'm grateful for God allowing us to meet and align. So yeah.
That's really beautiful. And I noticed that you have this and the 2 of them have this, where you have like the entrepreneurial spirit, where it's like, where is this opportunity going to take us? Is this a yes? Is this a no? Is this a maybe later on? And you've done multiple things. You've had such success in so many different areas. Like your artistry has not just been, I put out music, the fans love it. Like you've had placements, you've had success with music licensing. You've I remember watching a Netflix show and I was like, wait, is this Wande? this is weird. Wow. Like sporting channels over in the States. So yeah, I would just love for you to talk a bit about the business side of music and like how it's been navigating that.
Yeah, so the business side, I mean, the business side is fun though. So I would say as far as like placements, like that's been beautiful and encouraging to me of like, you don't have to compromise your faith to get placements. A lot of the songs that get placed are very Christian songs. So that's been beautiful seeing that. And yeah, I think one thing I've seen is like a lot of those are unplanned. Like you just pitch, but you have no control over what they pick, or you have no control over a company being like, hey, we want to request this. So it's been another area of me just learning that God is faithful. And so, hey, he's going to provide something. I don't know when or how or how much, but I know he's going to do something. So I think that's been really cool seeing the business area. And then in general with business, just having proper business ethics. I think that's been one area. I'm really grateful because my team values integrity. So I've grown so much as well of just being like, hey, like, it's okay to say no to something because it violates your integrity. And that's another area of trusting God, because you'll believe like if this doesn't work out with this person because it's compromising, he'll still provide another way to provide for me. So I've learned so much in that area because I feel like my natural tendency would be like, oh, well, we just have to do it because what if it doesn't, whatever. And it's like, no, if they want to act crazy, they can act crazy over there. We're going to be over here and that's fine. And so, yeah, I think I've definitely grown in strength knowing like you don't have to have other people and you don't have to have there doesn't always have to be like a catch to things. Like you can have something that's just purely wholesome and it's fine. And then you can say no to things that have a catch that are questionable.
I love that you mentioned integrity because obviously that's something that we pursue as Christians, but it can be really difficult when, you know, seemingly incredible opportunities present themselves and there are catches. But like you said, having your eyes open for if it is from God, then it will be wholesome. It will be clean as well. So I really appreciate that. And even in your own businesses as well. So just to touch on the fact that you have 2 projects that you that got your name on it, I should say. So we have the Win Network and then we have Win Beauty. And shout out to me because years ago when you started Win Beauty, I got a set of lashes that I honestly used for so long. My sister was like, girl, throw those away. Like they've been too long. But yeah, just talk about like starting your own and why it was important for you to like have your own brands.
Yeah, so it's been really exciting doing that. I think this is something I've wanted to do for a while. I think one day I was watching TV and I saw like the Oprah Winfrey Network and I was like, you know, God, we can do that too. Wande Ishola Network, we're gonna make that happen. And so it's cool seeing how that was able to be fulfilled like 10 years later. I don't know. And so I think for me, it's just beautiful. Just it's like a natural outpouring of what I like to do. So I think it's been fun. I love beauty. So that's been really fun doing that. It's been cool exploring like the whole manufacturing aspect and getting products produced. I used to always wonder, like, how do you get your packaging to look like that? I remember I had a project when I was in college. This is a funny story. I had a project when I was in college and these kids, their group projects looked so phenomenal, like a real product. And my group, we were not privileged and our parents didn't come from that. So we didn't know anything about that. So then we like go get a printer and cut out things and glue them onto a bottle. And it did not come across the same way. And so I learned later as an adult, like, no, they went to a manufacturer, got it printed and ordered and shipped back to them. And so I'm like, there was no competing with that. So I'm so happy that now I know about how to do that and how it's accessible and stuff like that. And so it's been beautiful doing that, getting to create my own custom products, work with manufacturers, get things printed, get samples, all of that. And so it's been fun. And then I actually wear them in my real life. Everything I ordered was stuff I use in my real life. Like I'm wearing my lip gloss right now. So yeah, it's been cool. Like being able to create products that I could actually use and that can actually elevate other people's lives. And I try to make them affordable and not like super crazy with the prices. And so, yeah, I think it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great journey. And yeah, I'm excited to just even expand it. And also like I'm moving into education too, just to show people how I did it so that way they can do it too. And so, yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I literally love that. I love that you said it's affordable as well, because I remember it being the only product, like your stuff being the only stuff I could actually get from the States to the UK, because I don't know if you know, but if you're in the UK and you try and order in the States, the price might be fine. And then delivery is like 2 times the price. Yep. And then it also comes like 6 months later. It's ridiculous. So it is really nice to see like a Christian entrepreneur just doing fun stuff. And also it's not like it has to be like lip gloss that says Jesus on it, or like eyelashes that spell out God or something like that. It doesn't have to be that. It could just be, you know, like a really good product. Like, you know, we're going to use lip gloss anyway. Why not it come from you, you know? I guess I wanted to talk more about the rap and hip hop scene being like, you know, generally a young man / woman, in this case, game. And a lot of people in the space are like our age or younger or a little bit older. So, I mean, I don't know if you plan to rap forever, but I would love to know, like, if you do have future plans and if part of the plan of having these businesses is to diversify in the future.
Yeah, I definitely want to diversify. I think I definitely think about my kids. I think that's one thing that like I started thinking about, like, oh, if I have kids, like I need to have an inheritance for them. Like I could be living good right now, but am I living good enough for my kids to be living like how I'm living? So I think that's motivation to work harder. But yeah, I think my goal is to like do the rap thing for as long as God is calling me to. But yeah, I definitely want to retire and then make it. Maybe I just make songs for fun because I feel like it, but not because I have to. And definitely do different industries. I think education is one area where I'll probably end up being in. And so I'll probably just end up educating people with how I got to where I am today. I'm trying to start a scholarship actually and give out. I'm really passionate about computers because I feel like computers help change my life. And I got a scholarship to get a computer so I could start rapping and stuff. So I want to start a scholarship where I give people computers, like artists, so that way they can further their careers and like actually work on their things at a high level. And then, yeah, just from there, also further on other education, just so they know how to record themselves, so they don't have to waste money with other people and they can advocate for themselves and stuff like that. So, yeah.
I literally love that you said that for multiple reasons, but the whole education aspect is definitely something you had always done. Like no one could say that you're a gatekeeper, because from the beginning you would be like, this is what I did, this is how I did it, this is behind the scenes. And I think that's just such a like giving, hospitable spirit, because you didn't have to. Especially because when you started, there wasn't many women in this game. There weren't many people that could produce or could write or could even like record on their own equipment. So that is really, really incredible. I just would love for you, and this is not to say like you're like, you know, veteran or super old or whatever, but I would love for you to say what you're excited to see and hear in the Christian music scene.
Yeah, I think I'm excited for just all the new artists. I literally was filming a TikTok of like, man, guys going kind of crazy with these new artists. Like they going hard. So I'm excited just with one, there's a whole bunch of new women who are just amazing. So I'm excited for that. Like we love variety. And then also there's a lot of guys too. Even some people who were making music before, but they got more consistent. And then TikTok helped them become more known. So I'm excited just for the new artists who are coming out and just being more appreciated. Like there's Stevie Rizzo is being appreciated. Alex Jean, he just came out. All his songs are crazy. All the women, there's a Cece, there's a Toya. Like, yeah, the girls are going real crazy out here. So I'm very excited just to see what comes out in the future with this. I think a lot of the new people are making like explicitly Christian music, which is cool to see. Like in that department of like, oh yeah, motivate me in my faith. Because there was an era of like depressing music, which, you know, when you're depressed, like that's okay. But there was an era where everybody like, it was cool to talk about being depressed, but nobody was talking about, let's encourage you with your. So I'm excited that we're out of that era and we're in the, go hard for Jesus era. So that's been fun because it sounds good. But then I'm like, wow, you're actually challenging my faith right now. This is crazy. So I think that's really cool. It even encourages me to like, oh, let me go in the studio. I want to have fun too. So yeah.
You're actually hilarious. You said there was a stage of depression. Do you know what I think it is? I feel like during the pandemic, we were all just like, okay, we're all sad. Let's just turn to God. So when people were making music, that very much was that. Yeah. It was like, I'm sad, but I have Jesus. And I think we're now kind of out of that, where we're like, I'm less sad and I still have Jesus. So I think the music is reflecting that. So, I mean, yeah, that's so funny. I never thought about it like that. No, I've been loving, like with SheHH, just exploring so many new women in the game, in the scene, and the different genres as well that's exploded. So we obviously talk about Afro gospel, but the R&B scene has been insane, like incredible, unmatched.
My playlist,
So
great.
literally, like soul music has banged. And in the US, you guys have country, incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have grime over here, that's been great. We have drill, gospel drill. Obviously, the rap has been popping. The Afro gospel, even all the like subgenres in Afro gospel, so like Afro swing and Afro house has been incredible. I guess I don't want to end, but I'm really enjoying this conversation. But I guess just to end, I would really love for you to share a bit more about what's happening with you currently, what's coming up next, and what you're excited for.
Yeah, so I think with me currently, God is like really expressing me to bring out my humanity more. So I'm in my humanity era. So yeah, I think it's just showing up as a human online and showing up as a human in my songs. So I think you're gonna get a lot of songs just talking about like my emotions, talking about what I'm going through, where God is bringing me, kind of like on some sister stuff, but then we're gonna bring it back to the Lord. So I'm gonna have that type of era, and then just helping people. I think God has called me to just help. So that's also gonna be, so you might get that both combined in like a, hey, here's a makeup tutorial video to show you a go-to face. But as I'm doing it, I'm gonna talk to you about life and my emotions. And so yeah, I'm very excited just for this new era that's arising, to see like where God leads that, to see what type of people he calls me to. And then I'm excited for the music too, just to have fun and just talk through different topics and life topics and stuff like that.
I can't believe I almost missed an opportunity to ask you about like live music and performing. So you toured a lot over the last few years around the States, but all our American artists, you guys love to forget that there's places outside of the United States.
I'm trying to go to the UK.
Come here, we're waiting, we're ready. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have any plans to like travel outside of the States and tour, do some shows, and where you would love to go.
Yeah, I'm legitimately trying to go overseas. So we're gonna see. If I get booked this year, then I'll just, go on other people's dime. But if not, then I actually want to make it a priority next year to like go and just use my own money to like pull up over there. I think the main thing is just making sure you have the proper contacts, because like you ain't in the States anymore. So better be careful. But yeah, I think that's like one of my actual like legitimate goals. Like next year I want to tour like internationally. Cause I love international. I used to be so fearless whenever I like first started 2019. Like I had Paris homies, I had UK homies, and I would just be talking to everybody, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pull up on y'all. But I think I really want to like pull up on y'all for real. So I think that'll be a goal for like next year. I think I want to use this year to like just focus on the music, so that way whenever I do pull up, y'all have a whole bunch of new stuff that we can all turn up to. But yeah, I'm excited.
Amazing. I mean, we're coming to the end of the interview, so I would love for you to maybe say something you would like us to, like anything you hadn't had an opportunity to talk about, anything you would like us to leave this interview with after you.
Yeah.
I'm going to try that sentence again. That didn't make any sense.
Okay.
Amazing. So thank you so much for speaking to us. Is there anything you would like to share that you maybe didn't get an opportunity to touch on yet?
I think I just want to encourage y'all. I'm so excited for SheHH. I think y'all have been super consistent. The graphics look awesome. So it's really cool seeing like y'all be consistent. And I think it really does like assist people in like helping people find new music, new artists, helping women feel encouraged. So I just want to encourage y'all to keep going, because it's really beautiful. I think as an artist too, receiving support, we really appreciate it as well. And I'm excited to see the platform grow and see who knows what else might come of it, or any new ideas y'all might do in the future. So keep going. Great job.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate the encouragement. That means a lot. And you've known about us since the beginning. So that really means a lot coming from you. So yeah, thank you to everyone watching and listening to this, and we'll hopefully see you next time.
Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you did, make sure to leave a like rating wherever you're listening to this, and to follow us on Instagram at SheHH Podcast.